Hello everyone, and today we're back into another top 5, and today we're going to be talking about the top 5 fossils in all of Loomian Legacy. So, there are only 5, so we are technically ranking them from worst to best. So, let's see where all of these fossils will rank. And remember that y'all opinions will be different to mine, so yeah. Let's get right into this top 5 right now. So, number 5 onto the list is actually going to be Joltooth. And I think Joltooth is an easy number 5. It's not even, Joltooth isn't even bad. It's good. It does the job. It's alright. It's a solid Bane of Haste user, but there are so many melee defense. There's a lot of melee defense Loomians that counter this thing, though. Like Tundralin. Tundralin counters it. Even Obsidian can counter. It can soak 2 Primal Slashes unless it's Ambush, which I guess that makes sense. Ambush is very scary. But it doesn't have a fast speed tier. Tyrex just completely walls it. And it's just, I think the other fossils have a little bit more utility compared to Joltooth. Doesn't mean Joltooth is bad. Joltooth is solid. It does the job pretty well. But there's just so many counters to it right now. And a lot of the meta Loomians are counters, so it's just so tough to use Joltooth in the current meta right now. When, the other fossils that we talk about on the list, they all at least have their certain niche in this meta, when Joltooth doesn't really have that right now. Although, it doesn't mean that it can be very dangerous. It does really well in this battle. It completely sweeps this guy's team. But the other fossils just do a lot better right now, and that's why Joltooth is at the bottom. And yeah, it kind of makes sense. Although, if Joltooth gets an Earth move like Clay Slap or Earthquake, that can really save Joltooth. You can hit Tyrex at least, you can hit those electric types, and you can hit, I think you can even hit metal types, although you can already hit it with Thunderclap, so that doesn't help it that much, but hey, an Earth move would help Joltooth a lot. So, let's get into number 4, because number 4 into the list is actually going to be Dorgo. Now, numbers 2 through number 4 can all be swapped. Dorgo could be number 2, it could be number 3, and it could be number 4. The reason why I put it at number 4 is because it only has an E5 melee attack. It doesn't really hit the hardest, but it does have some advantages. It has 116 speed, and it's one of the few Loomians in the game that can place Poison Barbs and Barbs. So it can place them both, while also having Slapdown utility. It is one of the best utility Loomians in the game, and it's so good. Very solid Barbs user, and also its typing is good. Dark and Ancient's a very solid typing to use. Unless there's a Declips, which, 50% of teams have Declips right now, but hey, we don't talk about that. Doesn't matter if you place a set of Barbs down. That's the thing. It's the Barbs. The Barbs really make Dorgo good, and its secret ability, Surrogate, is pretty solid. Especially if you take Ace, it increases your damage. But other than that, Dorgo's fine. Dorgo does the job pretty well. And, yeah, it could definitely be up to number 2 in some people's opinions. But the reason why it is number 4 is because, low melee attack kind of lets it down at times, even though it is a slapdown user. So, yeah, that's why Dorgo is number 4. But it doesn't tell anything about Dorgo. Dorgo is still a really, really good fossil. I mean, leagues above Joltooth, and that says a lot. When I already said that Joltooth was solid, this is leagues above Joltooth. And the next couple are going to be pretty close together. So, yeah, let's get into number 3. So, the number 3 fossil on the list is actually going to be strange, because it's Colossustrops. And this is my opinions with Colossustrops. Colossustrops is the best fossil, but it's also the worst fossil. And I will tell you why. It has amazing melee attack. It's speed 54, but with frail armor at +1, you could actually outspeed Hunder, I believe. I think Nimble Hunder you could outspeed, which is just insane. So yeah, if you get a +1 boost, can you outspeed Nimble Hunder? I think it's all the way up to Dusky. I don't remember exactly. But if you get the frail armor boost with Rageful Plushie, you are a nuke. You become the best fossil in the game when that happens. Problem is, the hardest part is that you gotta get it on the field in a specific situation, because it has so many weaknesses, and it's so weak on the range side that range attackers completely nullify Colossustrops. Although if you put it in the perfect matchup, Colossustrops can become a sweeper. That's the thing. Look at this clip. This is against a Harvestsec. I click Brawn Boost to get +2. He clicks his Parasitize to get me +2 again, and also a +1 speed. So now I'm a +4 Colossustrops while only clicking Brawn boost. That's why Colossustrops is so dangerous with Frail Armor. Its secret ability is also good, but I think Buzzlin's a lot better with the Vigorous ability compared to Colossustrops, but that's just my opinion. Colossustrops has the potential to be the best fossil, but it also fails a lot. You gotta be very skilled in order to use Colossustrops correctly. And that's why it's in the middle of the list. It can be the best, it can be the worst, which averages out to be in the middle. So yep, there he is. Colossustrops at number 3. So, the number 2 fossil on the list is actually going to be Skelet. And Skelet has the similar problems to Joltooth that a lot of Meta Loomians like Tundraling can beat. But it has a lot of coverage. Outburst, Mega Chomp, Aqua Jaws, and Drudge makes it really good. And the reason why Skelet is number 2 is combative. If you can get that combative boost, Skelet can become very scary with Drudge. Kind of the same thing as with Colossustrops, but it's even easier to set up with. And also has better, I think the coverage is a little better. I don't think it's amazing, but it has great coverage. And that's the thing with Skelet. If you get set up a couple Drudges, you could completely sweep. And you have Outburst, a 125 power move, which is just crazy. Imagine hitting that as your first attack to destroy something. You can either make this a wall breaker, or you could use this as a utility Loomian with Baffle. That's the reason why Skelet is number 2. You could also have Skelet at number 4. A lot of people will rank numbers 2 through 4 pretty differently, mainly because I think these fossils are around the same strength. With their pros and cons, I think they have the same strength, numbers 2 through 4. But I do think Skelet is a little bit better than Colossustrops and a little bit better than Dorgo. And that's why Skelet is number 2 on the list. Easier to use, and also, once you get a Drudge, you outspeed everything in the game, and you can actually become very scary. Like, look at this. Combative. And a combative boost becomes so useful so fast. And that's why Skelet is in the number 2 spot. But there is one fossil we have yet talked about. And let's talk about the best fossil in all of Loomian Legacy. So yeah, let's get right to it right now. So the number 1 fossil and the best fossil in the game is Infernix. It makes sense, and even though Infernix has fallen ever since Pyrolin came out, it still has Power Napper, it still has Return to Sender, and it's still very scary. Has amazing range defense, pretty solid range attack, it's faster, and it just does a lot of work. Like Infernix, there are so many different ways you can run Infernix. Like, there's so many different ways you can run Infernix. It's amazing. Like, you can run the Return to Sender set. You could run the Melee defensive set. You can run a Hyper offensive set. You can run a Rageful Plushie one. Yeah, Rageful Plushie can be used on this. Although, I do recommend Pyrolin with that because of Fanning Flame. But that's besides the point. Infernix is amazing. There's so many different ways you can run it. And it's leagues above the other fossils. And that's why Infernix is number 1. And if this thing gets Levitate, this could be one of the best fire types in the game once this gets Levitate. Right now, it's kind of in the middle in terms of fire types. I think it's number 4. If you look at my fire types tier list, you'll know where it's ranked. But yeah, Infernix is awesome. It hits hard, has some great abilities to boot, and really good moves. Fire Ancient is very good coverage and can hit a lot of stuff with it. And yeah, that's why Infernix is number 1 onto this list. And also, the Gamma looks absolutely sick. Let's not mention how sick the Gamma looks and how awesome it is. Like, that's the thing with Infernix. It is so cool and so great. I love Infernix so much. And it definitely deserves to be number 1 onto the list. So yeah, Infernix being number 1. But yeah, it's the best fossil in the game, and it's also the most utilizable out of all of them, and that's why it is number 1 in Loomian Legacy. So here it is, Infernix, the best fossil in the game. And it's not even close. The other fossils are good, but Infernix is just leagues above the rest of them. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I want to see what your top 5 fossils are in the comments below. It'll be very interesting to see. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!